Spider-Man, who does not have the strength or the ability to stop a train, but he still figures it out because he knows he has to.
I actually want to take a look at that train scene because I feel like you're maybe misremembering some stuff.
And he still stops it. He still does.
We're slowing down.
There's my boy. There's my boy.
What's ISOM's superpower?
What are ISOM's superpowers?
Can he fly?
There's artwork of him out there, like, doing some flying.
Let's talk warehouses and warehouses-related things.
Is that the only thing you're allowed to watch in the warehouse is Eric July's own videos?
Can you thank Eric July for the great comic? Thanks for working on the International School of Ministry.
International School of Ministry.
He's a superhero. He puts himself in danger. We need to know what kind of super abilities he has.
Okay, so how much does the Blaze pay you? You got your picture on the wall. You must do something for him.
Did Miles, like, come in his life or something? What happened?
And your shipping department needs to know you need smaller mailers or to wrap them properly because this book came damaged.
Y'all really bought that shit butt ass comic book. I'm crying.
And what do you mean by new legacy character? If they're a legacy character, like, it wouldn't be new.
What?
If she has a constant whirlwind that surrounds her, how could you make out the icicles that seem to grow from her pores?
Okay, what's your plot? Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
What do you mean, like going into the future for ISOM 1, 2, and 3?
What do you mean new?
I'm retarded?
I don't understand it.
So, if the college wants to re-educate me, they're more than welcome to try.
We don't manage to somehow swallow our super criminal pride. I'm afraid we're going to be...
But if they think they're going to do it in secret, they've got another think coming.
We must hang together. Almost assuredly we shall hang separately. Oh, and what a pity that would be.
Talked about this, and you know, we're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned.
We're about inclusiveness and I want people in.
I don't understand it.
got the children.
The only way that you can really stop this kind of thing is to arouse public opinion. It's very upsetting. It has a bad moral effect.
Forced adversity.
Ask yourself, what's more terrifying, fear or the frightened?
The facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire.
Bad, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Socialism has spread the shadow of human regimentation over most of the nations of the earth.
And they're pushing identity politics with this. They 100% are.
How do you think homosexuals reveal themselves? And the shadow is encroaching upon our own liberty.
I think there ought to be a law against them. Tonight I'm going to show you why.
Well, then show us, man. Oh, must have something to do with that guy. Hey, welcome. This is Forced Diversity Podcast. FAPcast if you're nasty. I'm Dane. Big Daddy Sugar Dane if you're nasty. Yeah. And here's Morgan.
Sup? Happy Lesbian Appreciation Day.
Is that what today is?
Today is Lesbian Appreciation Day. So
well, I appreciate lesbians. I've appreciated lesbians since I was probably a preteen young boy.
That's good.
But now I appreciate them for a lot of other reasons than I did back then. So
right, you've matured.
For the human beings that they are, and not
right.
Just the yeah. Anyways, before I dig myself into that hole any deeper, I'm always tinkering with like the intros to like my stuff, my other show, and then like the initiative stuff. I'm always like, I want to update this and make this music a little different or something like that. This FAPcast music is perfect. That whole intro is just pretty perfect. Every time it hits just right. It's just right.
It's perfect. I love it. Every time I'm just like, gives me goosebumps.
Julia, I think Mama JF is probably in the same spot as what's her name? Shelly Miskovich.
Shelly Miskovich, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That whole thing, from what I saw of it, I mean, it just what I remember of JF back in the day. Whenever I used to see him on some cringe channels that I used to check out sometimes. He's a big piece of shit who is not very let me just say this. He is a fucking misogynist supreme.
Oof.
And a piece of shit towards women. And the fact that he dropped his wife or whatever off 3 months ago somewhere, and then she just hasn't been seen since. I don't know, man. I have no evidence about anything, but like that fucking that doesn't.
She's playing pool with Jimmy Hoffa. So yeah, we're gonna get to Kevin Sorbo. Do you have the Sorbo clip? Want to start with the Sorbo clip?
Yeah, thanks for calling me out on it before I have it loaded up. But yeah, I got it.
I'm sorry. All right, just want to make sure. I'm very excited.
Here we go. Let me find.
We have a message from Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, I think it's a really good one. Maybe
it's a really good message. It's probably the smartest thing he's ever said.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Let me just find it because I don't be organizing well.
I know. Well, if I wanted organized chaos, I would get Bob here, but I'm more of a fandom guy myself. So,
well, give me a minute. What do you got going on? What's on your mind?
Well, the Rapture compartmentalization. Well, we'll do that on the back half, though. I have some thoughts.
I don't think we're supposed to do something in the back half because I think that's how you don't get raptured.
Oh, well, I mean...
By doing it in the back half?
Look, okay, I look at it this way. Like, the people who want to get raptured are people I don't want to see anymore. Right? Like, if they all got raptured tomorrow, I'd be like, fucking yes! Yeah!
Okay, what the hell? What did I do with this shit?
Where is Carmen Sandiego? I'm not at liberty to discuss the whereabouts of Carmen Sandiego. What are you, a cop? Julia, you're a cop. If you're a cop, you have to tell me. I ain't no snitch.
Actually got a couple of videos that they're maybe not really super related, but I think they're worth checking out anyway too.
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and load these up. And well, here's Kevin Sorbo. Let's hear what the man says.
Yep.
Hey Pat, how you doing? It's Kevin Sorbo here.
Hey.
I am a
Not my
TV
name.
and film actor, and my name is Kevin Sorbo, and I can assure you that we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men, and I don't know what that means. Because I don't know if I actually put any stock in that, but it's just funny saying filthy monkey men. I think that's pretty funny. So I still think that a lot of men are still very filthy monkey men, and I don't know what we can do about that, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of what's going on there right now. So all the best to you, Pat. Don't know where you live, don't know where you're at. I wish some people would tell me what city they're from or what state they're from, because maybe I have a story about that state. Know what I mean? All right, I'm signing off. Have a great one. Bye.
Wow.
Yep. So that's
Wow.
from I forget which service it is. It's like Cameo, where you pay a washed up celebrity to say something. And so there's a podcast called Scathing Atheist where someone someone intros the show that way every week. So someone paid Kevin Sorbo to say the line from Futurama.
I see. Yeah, now I get it. Okay.
Yep. So I thought we were talking about the Rapture and good old Sorbos and some of the Rapture movies. I'm like, oh, this would be a great time to pull this clip out of my bookmarks.
Yeah, and I honestly wish I had more time to. I'd found this thing, couple of things actually, and I wish that I had time to do something with them. But you'll be seeing them before too long. I've got some terrible kind of crappy 3D model animation of Jesus clips.
Oh my God.
In green screen.
Blessed are the merciful.
Oh my God.
So I'm gonna have some fun with those. I don't know if you guys want to email me some dialogue that Jesus might say. Then I can record that and maybe next week.
The one thing I wonder about Jesus is I keep hearing Jesus is coming, and if that's the case, and how often they say it like that, he's got to get that shit everywhere, right?
I mean, yeah, I didn't even hear him breathing hard yet, honestly. Yeah, it's speaking of this is old cult of Dusty here talking about the Mama JF thing. I had no plan to talk about that. Hadn't even thought about it today, but it is very fucking interesting and kind of bizarre, just thing to happen. Do you ever see JF Gareffi?
I've seen clips elsewhere, but I've never paid any attention because I don't have time for that.
Oh, he's like a race realist fucking he's just essentially a Nazi. Yeah, but
sure, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Everything I say here is speculation. I have no insider information about any of this other than what I'm about to show you. So this is all just a thought experiment, a little fun project where we can all deep dive into this together and speculate about what we think might have happened to Mama Garape, which is what he called her. Now, she might turn up alive next week. I have no idea. If so, obviously, I'll update the record. I will be honest.
Now, Julia, how familiar are you with this situation? Because Mama JF, is that the same one that was an underage girl that he was with years ago?
Oh.
Or is this a different person? Did she finally? I imagine she aged up finally to like legal age. But like I remember, he would be on stream with this girl who was apparently like underage, and like they would, I don't remember what they said, that I don't remember if they were openly just, but he would like not, it was very clear she was not allowed to speak when she was there to be looked at, but
it's a different person.
Okay.
Oh my God. So not Nazis and underage girls, name a more iconic duo.
True.
But I'm the groomer.
Yep, right. He's married multiple that's what it was. Was she underage too, or was it just that she's like literally was? I mean, I don't know what her diagnosis was, but she was not a I think cognitively, it seemed predatory. I'll say that.
That, yikes. Yikes on trikes. If true, I wish nothing but bad things on this guy.
I mean, not to say that, like, look, disabled people are able to make decisions for themselves.
Yes.
But from what I remember, it was a type of disability that, like, someone like him being, you know, and I think she was also younger. It just was really fucking creepy, man. Like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, what kind of piece? All right. Anyway.
About it, but for now, like I said, I have never seen anybody look more guilty. And even if he's not guilty of this, as we watch the videos, you'll realize that if he didn't kill her, this is exactly the type of person that would kill her.
Yes.
If he didn't kill her, he's still a giant fucking piece of shit in every way.
Like, finding out that he killed her would be the least surprising shit. Like, I mean, honestly, it would kind of almost be more surprising if he didn't. But I guess that's, to be fair, it's about 50-50. I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Oh, okay, you know what? I got Lucifer's got it. That's the more iconic duo is Nazis and being eugenicists.
Yeah, well, he's actually a genetics fucking guy, and he uses that to make his race realism points and shit. And I'm not a genetic. I don't know genes, so I'm not smart enough to like know how to dispel that shit. But he definitely is doing something shady in there.
So it's interesting to examine the manosphere and what it's become, and watch their content and see what they reward and gravitate towards.
Oh, it ended. All right.
Oh, well, there we go.
And then just to kind of like, I don't know, you know, if you were with us just now watching the documentary, The YouTube Effect, which there's only, you know, definitely not all the people watching were there. But if you were, maybe you need a little palate cleanser after, you know, this kind of dredges up some traumatic stuff, seeing all that stuff play out that we all experienced to some degree, you know, the 2014 with Gamergate, and then 2016 with the election, and then, you know, everything that fucking followed all that. It's upsetting, man. It's starting to just now kind of look like there's a little bit of maybe possible, is that some sun peeking through the clouds? Maybe, I don't know. You know, it's unclear if that's really what's going on yet. You know what I'm saying? But it starts to feel like maybe things could possibly eventually maybe get better. But let's go ahead and we need to balance the scales a bit.
Yeah, I would say so.
We got a proud boy.
Do it, proud boy. Be proud about your shit, Nazi. Be proud about your Aryan race, you fuck. Hey, well, he's rocking that pound boy bullshit.
Yeah, like I said, things could be getting better.
Things could be getting, yeah.
Like, I'll take it. You know, if that's what it takes, I'm fucking cool with it, man. I don't care.
Yeah, I have a day job. I like
making YouTube videos is not that important to me to where I'm just like, no, we got to keep the racism and stuff.
No.
Racism, look at that shit.
So that's what this guy, he sees that, and that's like seeing that's like a bull seeing a red.
Right.
Cloak, you know?
Imagine getting that upset. Also, like, look at this place. This is some kind of like skater bar, some kind of punk bar.
Mm-hmm.
And this Proud Boy comes here in fucking shorts. Like he came for a fight but didn't dress for one. Like, just amateur move.
That's just how they dress. They're supposed to get in fights as much as possible, basically.
You'd think he'd be better at it. Spoiler alert.
The foldiest neck.
He does have the foldiest neck.
Oh God. I mean, well, just wait. It gets better. Like, it gets so good. It starts to look like it might not be good, but then it gets so good.
It's so wholesome.
Why are you going after him? I'm confused. Why are you going after him?
Hey, I dare you to step this way. That nigga ain't stupid.
There he goes. This is where he fucks around.
Also, he's wearing sandals.
You don't know what his shirt is.
Like, fuck around.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
So he fucked around. Anybody want to take bets on what happens next?
I suspect he finds out.
He does, but like I really appreciate this just because like the guy that he chose, it's like, you know, good choice, Proud Boy, because like these guys are pretty much evenly built, you know.
Yeah, like he's got you know, a couple of inches on him and some width.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, bust his ass. 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 Give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to his big ass. Oh, big boy down. Big boy down. Big boy down. Big boy down. Big boy down.
Now I want you to appreciate as he gets up, he tries to put back on his shirt, which has disintegrated.
Yeah, his shirt is evaporating.
It's fucking hilarious.
Big boy down.
Like the Proud Boy has got to get his break.
What's his name? What this nigga? What this nigga? Bruh.
Look at that shirt. It's all fucking ripped
Look
up.
at bruh. Look at bruh.
His teeth are bigger than
Look
mine.
at bruh. Look at bruh.
And he just eats the stairs, tastes delicious foot traffic.
In his mind, he's like, okay, that guy got lucky. This can't happen again. I'm the alpha. I'm the alpha. I gotta try again. And then he gets literally dragged down the stairs into the street. Oh god damn it. That's good. All right.
It warms my black heart to see
warms the heart.
someone.
I fucking look. And anybody that's watching, it's like, oh, look at them cheering on violence. Fuck yes, I'm cheering on violence of fucking Proud Boys, man. Like
that guy went there to start a fight, and he got a fight. He got what he wanted, right? Like, I'm happy for him.
They weren't seeking this out. They didn't say, hey, flick a cigarette in my eye, Proud Boy.
Right.
No, he fucking chose what just happened to him.
Yep, he
And honestly,
knew where he was going.
It could have gone worse for him with all those people around. They could have like
Yeah.
easily,
They humiliated him. They didn't. They could have done a lot worse.
That's street justice. Yeah.
That's the price you pay when you go to a bar for a fight. You get in a fight.
The Proud Boys exist on a sort of a spectrum, I suppose you could say, more like a cluster connected to other clusters of shit. One of which is, generally the right-wing fascist kind of shit sphere that exists. And also within that are, evangelists.
Yeah.
People who believe in end times prophecy.
That's where his wife went. She got raptured.
Oh, true. Yeah, she disappeared. Didn't
She's
she?
the only person who got raptured. That's it. We had the rapture. It was just her. Praise Jesus. So that's what we're talking about today. The rapture.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Sandman. I wouldn't put it too much on your mom, like as a character. Like she might have just fallen for some shitty misinformation and news sources and stuff. And yeah, if that helps, I don't know. Anyways, so raptures. Anybody familiar with what the rapture is?
Anybody know what the rapture is? Or I have this lovely outline. You know me loving my outlines.
Outline, shit.
Oh yeah.
I've got a list of doomsdays that we somehow just like barely eked
We
by.
dodged doomsdays.
We're gonna talk about some of that.
So what the origin of the rapture. So to explain what the rapture is, we have to explain what Christianity is a little bit. So early Christians believed their boy Jesus, who got crucified, was coming back. And if you read the Bible, they think this is an immediate event. This is coming at any day now. But it turns out Jesus, despite being the Son of God, is more like a stepfather in that he went out for smokes and has left all of his children waiting for 2,000 years now. So eventually they believe he's going to come back. And because we have, centuries of interpretations of what's going to happen when that happens, because it's kind of the end game of the religion, is that Jesus is going to come back and bring the kingdom of God with him. And even within the Bible, there's different interpretations of what that means. So the rapture is a interpretation of these events that's become very predominant among
American
U.S. evangelicals.
Yeah.
it doesn't originate with them, but it has certainly grown in popularity thanks to some movies in the 70s, Thief in the Night, as well as the Left Behind novel series,
those
which
Left
was
Behind series really fucking gave it a boost.
Yeah, I actually read the first like handful of those as like shitty urban fantasy novels.
Yeah, I mean, I read the first one back in the day, and like I remember not hating it as far as like a reading experience. Like it was kind of interesting, but like that was because I had not yet developed my strong anti-theist worldview yet, and now I would probably just fucking balk the entire time.
It was not great, but like there is it's not the worst written urban fantasy schlock I've read. It very much is like a Christian urban fantasy story in a lot of ways. But so the idea of the rapture is that so before the end times, as depicted in the book of Revelation, God will come down, bring all the dead true Christians back to life, and then take all of the good Christians off this sinful earth. And this comes from a line in the epistle of Paul to the Thessalonians, which I will read to you now.
Hell yeah.
Get a biblical reading here. We're teaching Bible study. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. How's my preacher voice?
It's pretty good. But why don't we hear it from the horse's mouth, one of the horse's mouths itself, real quick?
Sure, hit it.
Got a quick video. I just found this, haven't watched it yet, but so I don't know if you did this on purpose. I don't think you could have, because in case anybody's not aware, there's some shenanigans happening over in the Middle East right now.
Yeah, no, it's we're gonna get there. Yeah, there's no way I could have predicted this, and
yeah, just so you guys know, Morgan said I want to do the Rapture. This is like what, 4 or 5 days ago.
This is like last Monday or Tuesday.
And then it's been 2 days ago, 3 most that
started yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. That Hamas fucking terrorist pieces of shit. Fuck them. They don't represent Palestinians, in my opinion, and they should. They shouldn't.
No, they were put into place through the Israeli intelligence apparatus.
I didn't know that. I don't know about that. I cannot confirm that information, but I trust you. So.
I am pretty sure that the Israeli intelligence apparatus had a hand in replacing the PLO with Hamas.
Yeah. And just let anybody know, like, I'm going to be pretty particular about opinions on this specific topic. If you haven't done like some research into the history of this conflict and what the material conditions are, I don't know. I'd suggest maybe not having too firm of an opinion on it in chat. But that's
we should, for sake of not getting the stream shut down, we should be very, very moderate in our discussion of current events.
I don't know if I can. I mean, I wasn't saying that. I'm saying personally, like I have a strong It seems like this is one of those things, kind of like Russia and Ukraine, where like people on the left will sometimes
go a little too far.
They'll just have almost like the utter fucking batshit wrong fucking take on it, in my opinion. Like, the people that are like, oh, why is Ukraine doing this war?
Right. Yeah. It's,
so Hamas,
there's a lot of misinformation out there right now.
Don't conflate them with Palestine. They're not the same thing. The same as don't conflate Israelis, Jewish people, with Israel, the state.
Right.
Israel, the state, is kind of a fucking piece of shit.
It's an apartheid state, right?
It is.
But the
Israeli people, the Jewish people, fucking, people just like anybody else.
They're folks. Yeah,
it's like living. I mean, we live in America where we're not happy with our fucking government. There's a lot of Israelis that are not happy with theirs either.
Yeah.
And even the ones that are cool with it, it's like still they're people, and they're not like fucking evil people. But anyway, because they're also subject to a lot of misinformation. Anyways, yeah. So that popped off like since you said let's do this, but this actually ties into the fucking.
It
thing
does. Yep.
Directly.
Absolutely. It's wild. All right, so roll the clip.
God, YouTube Christians, let's go. Listen, I just jumped on the comment section in the YouTube. People are freaking out a little bit. I'm going to try to go live tonight if we're still here. We are on the Rapture clock right now. Look at the war in Israel. This isn't just normal Hamas firing rockets. Netanyahu, who has declared war, people are dying, hostages, all kinds of things going on. Look at the earthquakes. That's Luke 21:11. Great earthquakes in diverse places. There's over 12 6.0 earthquakes today, less than 24 hours. There's like 37 5.0 and higher. God is about to shake this earth like a drunk man, I am telling you, which I think is Isaiah 24:20. Listen, we figured it out. It's coming. I still don't know 100%, right? But it looks like we figured it out. 8th day of Tabernacles. I told you Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We're running out of time. This looks like it's it. So I'm going to try to go live tonight. Praise God if this is it. We're really here. Listen to me. I forgot this. Isaiah 66:7, it says, before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child, okay? But Revelation 12:2 says, in the delivery, she was pained to be delivered, okay? So the actual birth, Israel was to be pained. It's been quiet over there. Look at this. They're in full-blown war right now. God's timing is perfect. He controls the wars. He controls the kings of this world. He set it on fire now because now is the time. All glory to God. This is
okay. So for anybody that's not aware, do you want to explain it? Do you have something to?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why this matters, right, is because you're like, okay, so there's some Christians who believe that God is going to vacuum them up to the sky before he blows up the world. A lot of people believe that, based on some interpretations of some prophecies, that a harbinger of this event is going to be violence in Jerusalem specifically. And a war between the Jewish people and the people and Muslim people. And a lot of Christians, including some prominent politicians over the years,
Want that to happen
and have taken steps to massage things that way.
Which is why, like, you might sometimes, if you're not aware of this, you might have sometimes seen like some far right type person who you might normally think would be like, talking shit on Jewish people. But in the example of Israel, they'd be like, oh, you just fucking hate Israel or something. And it's like, wait, what? You're the kind of person that would normally be like, it's the JQ kind of thing. Well, they don't actually give a shit about Jewish people. They don't actually give a shit about Israel.
Right. They want the state of Israel there and militarized for the purposes of bringing about the end of the world in their religious worldview.
At the very least, wiping out Muslims.
Or that too. Yeah.
But also in the more deranged sense somehow.
Right.
But yeah, and the reason that it's and it sucks, man, because like you've got just.
So here is I put it. Can I present something?
I think so. I did want to show this real quick first.
Sure.
Just got an earthquake thing about all the earthquakes in the last 10 years here. worldwide earthquakes, and just to show, man, there's a lot of motherfucking earthquakes every year.
It's not uncommon. Yeah,
and we're almost through the year, and we're
below average.
Below average, yeah. So like that kind of thing is just
it's just like raw
zeroing in on something that happens to be taking place and just thinking that it's relevant to the thing that you're convinced of already without any evidence. So like, you don't need any real evidence. You just need like some kind of something that you can grab onto loosely, and that's your evidence. Anyway, yeah. Can you share? I don't know what your thing looks like over there.
All right, I'll hit present and see what happens. Share screen.
Uh-huh. If it has audio, you need to select the thing down at the bottom.
Okay. It does not.
Okay.
Okay, so how do I? Oh, there we go. All right. So it says I am sharing a window, but I don't know how I can. Oh, there we go. Hi. So here is an article from 5 years ago from the Washington Post. Half of evangelicals support Israel specifically because it is important for fulfilling these sorts of prophecies. And I know they call it a prophecy. I'm going to call it prophecies because we get into this telephone game where like it has changed and slid over the years, and how important it is to different theologies within Christianity has changed. And one of the things that has accelerated that is the advent of nuclear weapons, because before then, like the end of the world was like a magic thing, right? It is a thing that you couldn't possibly comprehend how that would happen, right? But then we went and made the weapon to do it.
Yep.
So yeah, the article goes into several types of polls and stories of these different churches. Yeah. So here's one view on creation of the state of Israel. Events were fulfillments of biblical prophecy that show we are getting closer to the return of Jesus Christ. 80% of people polled. Here's a breakdown by, you've got some ethnic groups, by political views, and by Christian and non-religious about how much they believe that is going to come to be. Interesting that Black people polled were so high. I thought that was kind of fascinating. But by and large, the largest religious chunk is over here, evangelicals. So yeah, it is very fascinating. And if you want to check it out, I can pop the link. Yeah, Oppenheimer was not fiction. They did in fact make that bomb. I'm sorry, Mark.
Yeah, I hate to break that to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doomsday could be a real thing. Of course, the name is, don't get them twisted. The name is adopted from, I guess. Actually, I don't know which one came first. Which was called Doomsday first.
I don't know either.
Huh. Well, Judgment Day definitely came from the Bible's Christian shit first. But yeah, we definitely can end all life on the planet, essentially, or at least all civilization at the very least, if we fucking fuck around.
Right. We will in fact find out.
Yeah. It's man, I can't find the damn
well, the to answer Lucifer's question, I know this. Lucifer asks, I wish they'd make up their mind, support Israel because they have the end times, but hate Jews because they killed Jesus. Which is it? Okay, so when you're talking about the history of Christianity, a thing happens. So in the Bible, the story is that Jesus is killed by two groups of people, the Romans and the Jewish high priests, effectively. They're clerical class. And for a long time, Christianity, both as a sect of Judaism and its own religion, were not particularly popular with Romans, because Jewish people had a history of revolting against Rome. I mean, not that I blame them, because the Roman Empire, not great people.
Kind of cringe.
Get kind of cringe. So when Christianity became acceptable in the Roman Empire and eventually becoming the state religion, they nudged which group was the problem of those two groups that killed Jesus. And you have like the line in the Bible where like, I wash my hands of this, where Pontius Pilate is literally like, okay, you guys want him dead, he's dead. Whatever. I'll sign off on it. And yeah, the number 666 was originally meant to represent Nero. Actually, there's several things in the book of Revelation that are references to Nero, the Roman Emperor Nero Claudius.
I wanted to say real quick though that you don't show up here into telling people to take a break from comic books a little bit and think about playing a video game. I mean, these aren't mutually exclusive, man.
No. I was reading comics earlier, and I got a nice ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal today that I'm trying out. So
how did you have the time? No, I'm sorry.
I made time.
Oh,
I don't sleep, obviously. That's what all this coffee's for.
Fair enough.
And also, my anxiety has spiked the last few days, so love it.
Why? The world is great.
Yeah, it's so swell.
So I'm sorry if I was kind of looking for something a minute ago. Did you talk about why it is that they fight over this specific patch of land?
I mean, there are different versions throughout history. I don't actually know, like, because my area of personal interest is like less than contemporary, like because it's the Holy Land. And the like specific reason why has changed over time, but like I don't know actually what the justification is now besides like the that mosque in Jerusalem is kind of a centerpiece of these modern interpretations of the prophecy, and why they frame it as a Jews versus Muslims thing is they want the Muslims to take back that mosque. Or they want the Israelis to kick all the... I can't keep it straight. There's so many different takes on it.
Well, so basically, all the so-called Abrahamic religions consider Jerusalem fucking
sacred.
holy spot. So it's like let's see, to Jews, it's where the temple on was it the Temple Mount? Yeah, that's all three of them.
Yep, all of the temples. All of the great temples were in Jerusalem.
But then also Muslims believe that like during Muhammad's so-called night journey, I don't know anything about that he was transported there. And so
he flew on a magic horse.
Guys, this is why believing in fucking shit that there's no evidence for is really, really bad. And I think that I've had people kind of like, oh, chill out before whenever I'm like trying to disabuse someone of believing something virtually kind of benign but it's still wrong, right? Or not proven. And I think that it is important to do it on a small level too, like on the micro scale, because just so, I don't know, you're aware of whenever you don't fall into any traps. If you keep your mind, focused on things like that are like, let's say, I had a girlfriend who was all into, she would buy organic everything and was like, anything non-organic is bad for you or whatever. And it's like, not really. No, but, sorry.
Like the amount of actual organic food that is like meets those standards is much lower than things they slap an organic sticker on or a branding on.
I'm talking about she was the type that she's I don't know why I was with her in the first place, but she was the type that would say like, well, they've got chemicals in it, and it's like everything has chemicals
does.
In it. Like,
let me explain to you what chemicals are. Our education system has failed you, child.
Yeah, right. So, just that type of thinking that it didn't harm anybody, that she wants to only, she wants to pay a couple extra dollars for a bunch of bananas or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. I've kind of developed this resistance to stuff like that. But anyway.
So now what's interesting, we're talking about the Rapture. So to talk about where the Rapture theology comes from. So in the book of Revelation, which lays out what has become the Christian idea of the end of the world, the righteous and the wicked both suffer equally for 7 years. And there were some Christian philosophers throughout history who have gone, well, that fucking sucks. What the fuck is that about? And so they found this passage in First Thessalonians that's like, oh, this is the, like, God is going to take us all away first before we do all the suffering. So only the wicked suffer. And that those who are wicked might become saved while all of this shit's going on. And then at the end, they're the ones who will live in the kingdom of God and not burn in eternal fire. It is very convenient. And and so that's fun. And of course, they are always looking for it because we're talking about 2,000 years of he is coming back any day now. Like when you read Acts of the Apostles, which is sort of the story in the New Testament about Jesus's immediate disciples after he died. And Jesus comes back for a chat as a not quite ghost. Like he appears physically, but then he's not really there. It's a whole magic thing. They think he's going to return in their lifetime, like that Jesus's return is an imminent event. But obviously that hasn't happened. And so you have 2 millennia of Christians. Any day now, he's coming back. Any day now. And your most fervent believers, you kind of have to believe that, right? Because the book says he's going to be here any day now.
Right.
And to you, any day now is any day now.
I remember around the year 2000.
Oh yeah, this was another big uptick.
It was I mean, I kind of bought into it too, not like where I was like all thinking about it, but whenever somebody would bring it up, I would kind of have a few moments where I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if that's really going to happen. Oh no,
right.
But why would Jesus do that? Why would God, if he existed, do that? Like, I'm going to wait until right at the midnight in 2,000 years. And
well, and part of that was obviously the Y2K stuff kind of fed into that. What's interesting about Y2K is it was a real problem with computers, but they fixed it. Like that was a problem. Oh, this is a problem. And then nerds nerded at it until it was a solved problem.
Right.
And then nothing happened. So I was like, oh, it was fake. Well, no, it was real, but we fixed it.
Yeah, because it was never, and of course, as dumb as people are about, the internet and technology now, it's like then it was even worse. I think a lot of people felt like it was some kind of a prophecy, even like not even just like this is a technical issue that it probably wouldn't cause planes to drop out of the sky, but it is something that will cause some challenges, some problems if we don't fix it. And we fixed it. Now it's fixed. And everybody's like, no, Y2K. Like,
right. Because it got mixed in all of this rapture and end times theology, because that's right when the Left Behind series was sort of at its popularity, at its peak of popularity. So there was this market for the end of the world, as it were. And then, 19 months later, some assholes run some planes into some buildings.
Yeah.
And that sort of kept the fervor going for the hoping for the end of the world, because that was also supposed to trigger the end of the world, was 9/11.
I mean, and maybe it did. We haven't we won't know until it's over.
We won't, Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like one day they'll get it right. Like one day the world will end. Human civilization will end. But it wasn't your religion that called it. That was just a matter of the die landing on that result. Like eventually, just like it will be time, because that's how entropy works.
I'm gonna request that. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't like have exchange a couple of messages in chat about it, some other topic or whatever, but like Morgan puts time and effort into putting an outline together for this stuff, and I just feel like it's kind of disrespectful to just have a completely unrelated conversation. You can do that elsewhere, and the people that want to talk about what we're talking about can talk about it. Anybody, just not going to call anybody out, just saying.
It's okay. Yeah, like I get it. Sometimes someone, something clicks someone in someone's brain, you go on the tangent, but let us know you're still here and that we're talking to you and you're having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, the message that sends is like, oh, we must not be doing a very good show, or something like,
But like, I'm sort of mixed because at the same time, like, I could just talk about this for fun, right? Like,
true.
Well, I just like talking about this nerdy shit. Like, and to me, it's nerdy shit, right? Like, it's a real problem, as we talked about with all these, there's politicians and half of a religious sect that controls the country, and a war between Israel and Palestine right now that's been, fueled by this nonsense. But mythology is interesting.
I mean, that's part of it, I think. Yeah, there's some,
Yeah, I think so.
Right. On the end of days, return of Christ, the Bible literally says you will not know the day nor the hour, which can basically be taken to mean always be good because you never know when the end comes.
Right.
It's like,
which, like, there's a good lesson in there, like, in that your end will come and you don't know when, so don't be a dick. But yeah.
Well, and Rasta has brought this up here, and that actually is something I wanted to look at is what does the Left Behind series depict as what does it look like?
Yeah. There's been a few adaptations of it.
Honey? Where are you?
Ma'am? Is everything okay?
It's my husband. He's disappeared.
This reminds me of of Lost.
Yeah, kind of.
When what's her name as Rose and Bernard, I don't know.
You know what? I bet he just slipped off to the restroom while you were asleep.
Would you mind checking, please?
This was actually the one before the Nick Cage one. This is the Kirk Cameron one, the original.
Kirk Cameron, the original, because they've remade this a couple of times.
Okay, sure.
And take this.
Ma'am?
I think he's gone off naked.
What?
I'll be right back.
Honey, have you seen the kids?
Super.
Where are they? Where are my kids?
Where are my kids? Oh no.
Dun dun dun.
What is happening? I mean, like, is there even any are you talking about Langoliers into is there even any like suspense here whenever you know what the movie's about? And it's like it's just the Rapture. So it's like they're not even any danger. It's actually you're the ones that are in danger.
Right. So can you pause it? I wanna So this is torture porn for Christians.
Yeah.
That like you're right. Like they believe the rapture is coming. There's no suspense to them. This is the lesson of this scene is this is what's going to happen if you're not a good Christian. This is what's going to happen to those filthy non-believers is they're going to suffer. And also I want to talk about like how evil God is in this story. What sort of shitty omniscient being is like, I'm going to separate an elderly woman from her husband. I'm going to separate parents from their children. Like, what a fucking monster.
I mean, yeah, it's look, if you're gonna do something like that, I think there's a way to do it. If you're gonna like get rid of a bunch of people, and I think there's a movie that came later on that I think did it way better. To be honest, we can take a look at that here.
Sure.
I should have started it right, like here.
This is.
Excuse me?
Smaller.
She was brainwashed.
What, you thought it was some.
Already more entertaining.
Yeah, more, yeah.
I think it has flair.
Well, yeah, kind of. 4, 3.
You know, I mean, tracked. Now that's fucking heartbreaking. Tracked.
Right.
Like he was so childlike in that moment. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking terrifying, man. All right. Anyway, so Infinity War did it better.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Well, because like, it's the bad guy doing it, right? Like,
right, exactly.
You know, it's fucked up. But that's the thing is the intended audience of this movie and these books is the people who are left behind. It's to torture them.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's a fear. You know, this religion in itself. I guess I don't want to say all, but like Christianity and anything where there's like a threat of either being punished or not receiving a reward is fear-based. It fucking literally just, you build your entire worldview and everything around fear. And I think, you know, not to sound too, I guess, wooey or whatever, but I do think that if that's the foundation of everything you believe, then you're gonna just be a fearful person, and you're gonna, make choices based on it.
I think it's that, Christians will ask atheists or claim atheists aren't atheists because like they do good things. It's like, why would you do good things without a fear of punishment and a promise of reward? Well, because it's a good thing, right? Doing good feels good. We're social animals. I want to help out the people around me. I don't need a threat of damnation to make me do good things.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's so bizarre to think that like that religious people look at atheists like, oh God, they're terrifying because what do they believe? They don't have any morals. And it's like, hold on, man.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
We're the ones that are fucking scared of you because like we have, generally, I'm not saying all atheists because it's literally just a lack of belief. It's not like a positive affirmative belief in anything. But, generally, I think if somebody is taking an ethical stance, moral stance against religion and practices of religion, they've probably figured out a moral system for themselves that works and is, maybe better. It's at least probably based on things that exist and some sense of reality.
Right. And I think Mark touches on an interesting point about like what the Bible actually says. Because a lot of our cultural hell beliefs and afterlife beliefs are biblical fan fiction. Dante's Inferno and all that stuff is fan fiction. It's not in the book. It was made up after the fact. But it's just become because people aren't biblically literate but expected to be religious. And even for the longest time it was you weren't allowed to read the Bible. It was in liturgical Latin. It wasn't translated into your local language. And I think religion has continued to encourage that in Christianity. Like, just hear what the preacher has to say and don't, read the book yourself. Or if you are, do it as part of a Bible study where there's someone interpreting it for you. And telling you what to think about it. Like, it reinforces a worldview rather than allowing people to examine the text on their own and see what conclusions they draw from it. So I do think there are some interesting stories and interesting ideas in the Bible, but I wouldn't base my worldview around them.
Indeed. Sorry,
So, yeah.
I got distracted. I don't want to derail. I'm sorry we didn't have a chance to go over what you had prepared, so I'm not sure what you want me to do here today.
No, we're good. We have. I think we can do the list of the people of the failure of the end times predictions, because those are I love these, and I think it's
yeah, just real quick though, I wanted to, because we were on that topic just now, I found a thing I'd like to
if you've got stuff you want to show, I am happy to.
Yeah, I'm kind of just doing like, as we come upon something that makes me think of something, I'm like, oh, I know a clip for that. Problem is, then I have to find it in my download folder, which is full of clips. But
the list is really long, Jacob.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they're probably just like with the one or two preachers that have. There's like a long list.
Yeah, some preachers have hit and miss. I mean, the whole sect of Jehovah's Witnesses is basically about missing that date a bunch of times.
Yep. And then yeah. Oh shit! Why is it not letting me share that? That sucks.
Oh no.
Wrong file format. Lame. You know what? I'll just show it on screen here.
I mean, I know one of them is the recently deceased Pat Robertson. Several times in the 70s and 80s predicted the end of the world, and I mean, he survived his own prediction of the end of the world by like a whole fucking 40 years, because he only died this year. So a broken clock is right more often than Rapture predictions, Chris.
So here's a clip from just one of the best fucking seasons of television ever put on television. True Detective season 1.
Oh, that's a good one.
The ontological fallacy of expecting a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, that's what the preacher sells. Same as a shrink. See, the preacher, he encourages your capacity for illusion. Then he tells you it's a fucking virtue. Always a buck to be had doing that. I mean, it's such a desperate sense of entitlement, isn't it? Surely this is all for me. Me, I'm so fucking important. I'm so fucking important, right? Fuck you.
And there's actually several other clips that are just fucking. Each one of them is better than the last. Like,
yeah, that's a crazy show.
I mean, that character is like just one of my favorite characters. Period. He's fucking endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, it's the second season
and tragic and like
yeah. Also, the second season was not as.
When watching it as it aired, I wasn't a big fan at all. I was like, this is not what I was wanting of second season. But then I watched it years later and kind of enjoyed it as its own thing.
Yeah, I think like it's one of those problems where like you're talking about an anthology show and like how do you hit that high? There's no way.
Well, I mean, they definitely didn't adopt the aspects of the first season that I would have hoped they would carry over. You know, I didn't expect the same characters or anything, but the tone was so different too.
It was very different, like, the tone and the setting, and like it was a very different show. I don't think it was bad, just not as good.
But yeah, the point was just that it's man, Into, you really hate Euphoria. It's like the third time I've seen him mention that. All right, so here we go.
Fine.
Predictions of apocalyptic events that would result in the extinction of humanity, a collapse of civilization, or the destruction of the planet have been made since at least the beginning of the Common Era, which was that
1 AD would be 1 CE.
Most predictions related to Abrahamic religions, often standing for or similar to eschatological events described in their scriptures. Christian predictions typically refer to events like the rapture, the Great Tribulation, then the Last Judgment, and the Second Coming of Christ. I didn't even know he came the first time. Oh,
Hey, yo. Well, it depends on if you believe in. There's a few different like theological heresies about Jesus boinking.
Let's see. So yeah, many religious related end time events are predicted to occur within the lifetime of the person making the prediction, which is convenient. Why don't they ever predict something like, "Oh, I'm going to be like 200 years dead by the time it happens"? You know, it's always like
there is. It's Nostradamus, right? Like,
oh yeah.
But I mean, that's a lot of like people do a lot of like tilting their head and squinting their eyes to make that fit to their modern day all the time. So,
yep. I watched some video about it one time that showed how the History Channel was doing it, and just like how you could take the same text and make it all kinds of other shit. Because I used to watch those History Channel ones, like, oh my god, that's fucking fascinating.
I was like, that's wild, and I'm like, I'll look into it myself. I'm like, oh, it's bullshit. Great, cool. Why did I waste an hour on that?
So many religious-related end-time events are predicted to occur. I already read that part. As either the primary or exclusive source of their predictions as the New Testament, typically. Often takes the form of mathematical calculations, which makes kind of I guess dumb people think, oh, that's smart. It makes sense.
Well, it's a prime example of starting with your conclusion, right? Like you're trying to come up with you have what you want the equation to equal, and then you find a way to make something equal that.
Well, then often many of them though will the calculation that they use, they start with what they believe to be the beginning of creation, which is about 6,000 years ago,
which is more recent than beer and more recent than historical evidence of trans people.
True. Trans people are God. Confirmed.
Yes, I am your God. Please don't worship me. It's really awkward.
Let's see.
But you can tithe Dane at patreon.com/actualfandom.
Little research has been done into why people make apocalyptic predictions. I mean, I think grift is probably one big reason.
I think that clip also touches on another one, is that desire to feel special, right? Like that the end of the world is now. It's my time. I get to be here for it.
And then suffering, right? Like people suffer, and like that's a very valid reason for people to look for answers, and that's why religion is often so frustrating and is exploitative in a lot of ways, because we all suffer. Everybody, and then like a lot of us suffer under systems that don't need to be the way they are.
Right.
But somebody's making money off of it. So like then people are trained to look, they're not trained to see the system. They're not educated to see the system in a lot of cases. And so they know how to look at or listen to their preacher or whatever. And then they can go, well, the only reason that we would be suffering, my mama's got cancer and my brother's fucking got his leg blown off in the war or whatever. And like, why are we suffering so much? Well, clearly it must be because it's close to the end where we're going to get our reward.
Right.
Our reward's just right around the corner. And that's the only reason that the earth would be so crazy. My dad said something about that one of the last times I spoke with him about like, just look at the state of the world. Everything's, and aside from like obviously COVID and then like political upheaval and stuff, like he was talking about crime rates. And I'm like,
Which are down.
Crime rates are actually down.
Yeah,
and he's
they're
like,
down.
no, they're not. You see stuff on. It's like, yeah, you see it on the internet now. That's the difference. You go online and you follow pages and people that are prone to share that kind of stuff because they're living in fear. And just the difference is that we didn't have all the video feeds showing us the shit until
it's anecdotal, right? And like anecdotes are powerful.
Yep.
It's one thing to read, oh, crime stats are down. It's another to see a shooting, a robbery, something on fire.
So let's get to it. Let's rattle off a couple of them here.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh dear. Oh god.
Yeah,
There's so fucking many.
It's why zombies and dystopias are so popular that like whatever comes next, you won't be around for all the bad stuff.
So the earliest one listed here is see 66 to 70 CE in Judea.
Oh, there it is.
The Jewish Esseni sect of aesthetics, I don't even know what those words mean, saw the Jewish uprising against the Romans in 66 to 70 in Judea as the final end-time battle, which would bring about the arrival of the Messiah. By the authority of Simon, coins were minted declaring the redemption of Israel.
Instead, one of their generals sold out to the Romans and went on to be a famous historian by the name of Josephus.
Yeah. Well, and then, fast forward a couple hundred years to 365. And the claimant was Hilary of Poitiers. It's French, Poitiers. The early French bishop announced the end of the world would happen during that year.
What year was that?
365.
I think he was wrong.
Yeah. Well, then you fast forward 10 years. World's still there. Martin of Tours, the French bishop, stated that another French bishop, so they had a whole thing then, I guess, stated the world would end before. See, I don't think that's coincidence, right? Like a French guy did it, and then 10 years later, another French guy did it.
How did that happen?
I wonder where the second one got the idea. Stated the world would end before 400 AD, writing, there's no doubt that the Antichrist has already been born. Firmly established already in his early years, he will, after reaching maturity, achieve supreme power.
I did not know Barack Obama was that old.
I didn't know that my friend had a book years ago. I'm sure I can find it if I look for it, but like it was a little book, like basically a bathroom book. And it just had, all of the people in the last, 200 years or so that have been claimed to be the Antichrist by religious folks.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to see that, like, everybody, both sides of political aisle, every, famous person, John Lennon, fucking Reagan, they've all been called the Antichrist by somebody. Like, so then, we go all the way to May 27th, 482 by Hediatus. This is a bishop of Portugal. Wrote his chronicle in his firm belief that humanity was living in the end times, marching towards a certain doom on this day, when Jesus would come back and the world would end. Spoiler alert, we're going to 500 now.
Wow, shit, really? Spoiler alert, God. I didn't think we were going to make it.
So, I could sit here and go through them, but we'd be here all fucking night.
Right.
Let me show you what we're working with here. Pull these up on screen so you just have an idea. Just a little smidgen of a notion. So this is the top of the list, past predictions, starting the first millennium.
And I think it's interesting that these lists get longer as records get better, but then...
Okay, there it is. Yeah, here we go.
Like, look how many are in the 21st century. Like, that's just 2 decades and change, right?
Uh-huh.
Pat Robertson was predicting the end of the world. First in the 70s, then in the 80s, and then in as late as 2007. He outlived his end of the world prediction by 16 years. Harold Camping is another guy.
That's a line from Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that is a line from Night of the Living Dead, like the OG one.
And let's see. Yeah, so the thing is here, it's like I do not begrudge anyone of pre-modern era for maybe thinking this way.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. Fuck, you're limited, completely limited on understanding and education and everything. And it's like, and it looks like the fucking world is ending. If you don't know history of this type of stuff, then yeah, of course it would seem like during the Black Plague or whatever, like World War I, World War II, like even. But
I mean,
we're in
the Black Plague is borders on a mass extinction event for humanity. Like the amount of people it wiped out. Like if that amount of people died from COVID, I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking this was the end of humanity, because holy fucking shit. Such a sizable portion of humanity was just wiped out, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. Not a goddamn thing. Because antibiotics wouldn't be invented for another few, centuries. There's nothing
literally
you
like
could
the
do.
the way to get rid of it, the plague, was like basically just to, shun people and burn them alive and stuff.
Burn bodies, and they didn't know it at the time, but like they wore masks, and they put like
what? They didn't have freedom?
No, they had no freedom, only mask.
Oh man.
But it turns out those masks, those like primitive fucking masks, they'd stuff them with like things that smelled good, but also had antiseptic quality. So the masks actually help keep people alive.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So stuff that smelled good, so you didn't smell the fucking corpses.
You
that
didn't
were
smell
just
the rot, because people rotted alive. The Black, yeah. If
you would
the
just
Black
smell,
Death
and
happened
then of course the
today,
dead ones that are rotting.
yeah, like it. Oh gods, it. Yeah, I don't blame anyone who thought the Black Death was the end times. They get a pass from me, because.
But then you get to, more modern times, and then you get to the 21st century, especially, and it's like, okay, man, y'all gotta fucking stop believing in this shit. It's you got the internet, you can see that this is something that just, I don't know, man. I don't know how people are so willing to believe in stuff like this. But.
Well, I think it's it's age, right? How many of these are old ass religious prophecies, right? So there is like some amount of traditional inertia built into it, right? Like if you can say it's biblical, that will give it more credibility with a certain type of person.
I mean, so Pat Robertson, he made his prediction in 1990.
And that's like his third prediction. Because he
his
had
date
one
was
of the
April 29th, 2007.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and he outlived that by 16 years.
And you notice there's a few people that are on here a couple times.
Yeah, Harold Camping is a big reoccurring end of the world guy.
And then of course there was the Mayan 2012 one, which is just like a really dumb,
really dumb.
My older brother, I can't believe he actually bought into that too. He's like, I don't know, I think there might be, maybe not the end of the world, but like aliens are going to show up. And I'm like, what makes you think that? Like, what in the fuck can possibly make you think that? Why is not the most simple and obvious answer, which is they had to end the calendar sometime.
Right. Yeah. So imagine going to, I mean, if there's a Barnes and Noble by you, or an independent bookstore, like a Half Price Books, imagine going in there and buying a calendar and getting to the end of the calendar and going, the world must end after that. That's the Mayan calendar thing. Literally, like I dated a woman who believed that was going to happen. That was not the most crazy thing she believed.
Oh, was she the stabby or
no, she was not stabby. That was a dude we did not date, though. I think
okay,
he and I had a different perspective on what our relationship was.
I see. So these are actually interesting. I do like these because they're more science fiction ones. The ones with involving like Nibiru and Planet X.
Oh yeah,
those are fun.
Hey, Nibiru's like one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
It's also the name of the planet that they're visiting at the beginning of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oof, woof. Star Trek Into Dumbness.
Yeah, exactly. The E-Bible Fellowship, they took a stab at it and said that
2015, yeah. Per Harold Camping's predictions, there he is once again, the man himself.
Oh, David Mead, he made a couple of different ones here.
Yeah, he's got a few on there.
After his 2017 one failed, he predicted the rapture would take place and that the world would end on this day. It's like, I mean, did he know that he was full of shit? Like, why would you do it so close to the previous one?
Because like it's easier. So if you've got people on the train, right? If you've got people hooked, I was off by a year is an easier sell than I was off by a decade, right? Like,
fair enough, yeah.
Like you need the lie to match the crime, right? Like,
oh, I remember this. The September 5th, 2020 was one that I remember seeing people posting about it. The subreddit remains as on the site for survivors to tell their stories. It's just a meme now. As is everything.
Yeah.
So the most recent one, I guess, is this just not been updated?
It just hasn't been updated. There was a Rapture the other week.
Well,
Rapture 2023.
So I mean,
September 19th was the most recent Rapture.
Cool.
Tyler, a YouTuber called Generation 2423, based on his knowledge of scripture, believes that the end of the world will be 2 weeks ago.
Hey, maybe it did. We don't really know. Like,
oh, we're 2.5 weeks ago now, almost 3 weeks ago. So yeah, if anybody knows if you got raptured, did this guy get raptured? Let's see. Is he still posting? We look him up on YouTube.
Who's that?
I'll look it up. I'm on it, boss.
Because
now I learned how to screen share. I'm invincible now.
Here's some fun ones. We're gonna. This might not be. I don't know what we're gonna find here. I feel like they're probably not necessarily religious ones, but I want to look at them anyway because these are far future predictions.
Oh, he has dropped off the earth. He has not posted in a month.
Oh, maybe he's just the only one that got raptured.
Yeah, he must have got raptured. Yeah.
All right. So, in 300,000 years, Peter Tuthill says that WR104, a triple star, is expected to explode in a supernova. It has been suggested that it may produce a gamma ray burst that could pose a threat to life on Earth, should its poles be aligned 12 degrees or lower towards Earth. However, spectroscopic observations now strongly suggest that it is tilted at an angle of 30 to 40 degrees. And so any gamma ray burst should not hit Earth. Lame.
Oh, no, he's done some live stream since. And look at this one. 4 hours ago, Israel at war. Please pray. One day ago, Rapture and Judgment.
Well, that was one thing I was going to show you guys too. It was let's see, because I just searched for Rapture on YouTube, and
oh, I'm sure there's too many videos today.
No, there's Blondie. Cool.
Nice. That's the only Rapture I care about.
So Israel's wheat eclipse. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Just there's actually some videos like this that are kind of fun. Where it's like literally, I guess somebody moves on a bus or something like that, and they're like, "Look, you disappeared."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's like one guy disappeared, so the rapture happened.
Once again, a lot of it focuses on Israel because we could not have timed this episode better. We're gonna get some weird ass viewers on this.
Oh, I bet we do.
Yeah, we're gonna get some real characters.
Oh God, we have to follow up on the comment section next week or something.
Yeah, maybe change the tags, change the name, get some of that in there.
Christian, this is how it looks like when the rapture happens, and then it's the Nick Cage movie.
Cage.
Nick Cage is there. Fuck, I'm there, man. Like I want that rapture. Even that Nick Cage Rapture.
Well, Nick Cage doesn't get raptured. That's the whole, like, he's the guy who has to find Christ after God has taken all the Christians.
And this stuff is not considered like, it's not considered any kind of hold on, I'm fascinated by this picture of Trump for one thing. And then he said 12 days ago this video was made that the rapture is going to happen very soon.
Well, rather, this Rapture Ready guy, I bet that guy has, a stake in the game. The channel is called Rapture Ready. How many times is he? Rapture's going to be very soon now, any day now, right? Like,
I mean, he might as well be like there might as well be a Chud YouTuber called like Hollywood is dying or something, and SJWs are killing it. Because
I wonder how the Bounding into Comics guy is doing with this, right? Like, is he already? Is he a Rapture
he's Catholic
guy?
I don't know.
He's a Catholic, so he's probably not a Rapture guy then. Yeah, it's really a Catholic thing.
Rapture finally here. Have I ever been wrong before? I mean,
probably, yeah. I will bet money. All right, I'm gonna go visit the throne. I'll be back in a minute.
Sure.
If I don't come back, you know what happened.
That's true. That is a very good movie. Yeah. If you get raptured, peace be with you. Tell Bill Gaines I said hi. So you have a question. I thought these Christian prophets haven't talked about Earth getting hit by it. All right. Is that a question? I don't understand it. Can you phrase it in a way that a question would be so that I know what you're asking? What is a rich stain? It is like that. It's also like, and I've talked about Ethan Van Sciver before and his the time that he said that, if this 5G initiative at DC Comics isn't successful, they're going to stop printing comics. And then 5G initiative didn't even happen. And yet he still came around going, I told you. And it's like, no, you didn't. And then, but he was like, well, now it's just, there's things have changed, but this is still basically going to happen. And it's like the same exact thing. That's what these chuds do, is doomsday prophecy. And that's why people that are so susceptible to it are generally conservatives, because, their minds are feeble for that kind of shit.
Right. They exist in an environment that points them in that direction, sort of just massages their brains into goo.
Yeah, there's a lot of posts, and actually here's This Is the End, a clip from that. Have you seen that, Morgan, that movie?
This Is the End. No, I have. That's the Netflix one, right?
No. It's a Seth Rogen. It's like got all of the, here, we'll just
it's Seth. I have not. I know what movie you're talking about, but I have not seen it because I just didn't care.
It's actually very entertaining, I think.
That is some shitty CGI.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's a comedy movie that's not supposed to be like super serious.
Right.
I mean, by the end, spoiler alert, by the end, there is a demon that's walking around with his big flopping dick.
Sure, of course.
So like, I mean, it's a thick one too. Yeah, not enough nudity. Yeah, it's just funny because like they kill off so many like famous people, and they're playing themselves. That's what one of the funny parts.
Okay.
So like they're literally, that's Seth Rogen and what's his name, Baruchel, and then you know the fucking Michael Cera. He's playing a absurd version of himself that's like a super sleazy asshole, and
Sure.
you know, it's very clearly that like they're writing this because like he's probably actually a really nice guy and shit, and so they wrote it like, we're gonna make him the meanest asshole. Like,
right, of course.
Yeah, and Jonah Hill is like, this is after Jonah Hill had won an Oscar for was it Moneyball, I guess, maybe, or Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not sure. And so he's like he's always like trying to remain humble, but he's like doing a bad job about it. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Very 4400 exit for those folks. Yeah. So why don't these Christians talk about the man-made disasters and all the asteroids from space that could realistically end the world at random? Because that doesn't address the soul and the purity of the individual soul.
Well, also it doesn't fit with, except when it does, right? So they do in some ways, like this whole like why they've all kicked off this weekend with the battle between Hamas and Israel, is because that does match their prophecy. So they have this man-made disaster of a war, effectively, and that war is part of their that specific war is not part of their prophecy, but rather they see it as part of their prophecy because they want violence to happen in that region of the world for their prophecy to come true. And so they will twist man-made and natural events to be signs of the end times.
Oh yeah, that's right. The movie does by the end of it, it's you literally figure out kind of exactly what makes a good person that's worthy of being raptured, and it's not, because like, Seth Rogen's Jewish, they're not all Christian or anything,
right?
And it's really just boils down to like, not being a piece of shit, making generally good choices that aren't selfish and aren't malicious and aren't, you know what I mean? It's not anything specific of like, don't talk about another god because I'm the only one, okay?
Right.
Don't be gay, none of that. Danny McBride in that movie is so fucking funny. I think that might be where I first kind of noticed him as like, oh, this he's something.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know that I'll get around to watching it, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting distracted. It's been a distracting weekend. I'm sorry this is so unfocused this week.
Yeah, me too. Like I did not get a chance to put my normal level of work into this outline, but I have another thing to talk about instead. So
right, James Franco gets all cocky because he's like, "Fuck you, bitches," and then they sent to hell instead in the middle of. And honestly, now knowing what we know, that's accurate. That's
yeah, probably, yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, just like right now, I'm trying to get the people in my household, the children folk, to think about how their actions affect other people, because there's a lot of that doesn't happen in with these kids right now. And
well, yeah, it's hard.
And so I'm just kind of like, I wrote it on, like, we have a whiteboard kind of thing, and I wrote that, how do my actions and words affect those around me, and just it's like, hey, just think about this when you can, as much as possible, and it really stems from that, and then try to do better tomorrow. Like that's I don't know. I don't know why it seems like that's hard for a lot of people, but they need somebody to hand them some kind of document that tells them exactly how to live life. It's weird.
Well, because life is complicated, and we're all, sacks of water
and parts
and chemicals in a meat robot. So fucking life is weird and hard, and we're not completely rational actors even on the best of days. And so yeah, sometimes you do need a reminder, need a hand, and
True.
need forgiveness for when you fuck up, or need to be told, hey, you're kind of a fucker.
Yeah, they don't follow the document anyway, right? It's true.
No, they do not. No. Mark can tell you all about that. Mark is seems pretty knowledgeable on the good old Bible.
Let's see, what do we got? Seemed like I had something else I was gonna. What did you have left? Sorry.
Well, I want to talk about.
Speaking of robots, you're kind of roboting.
I'm roboting.
Yeah. I don't know if you can. I don't know. Leave and come back in or something.
Sure.
Redo your browser.
Oh, hold on. Everything is like refresh on me and freezing, so we're having some kind of inner poopage. Let me try to leave. I can't even leave. You can't even hear me.
Oh yeah, you are bad roboting. Oh boy. Yeah. Can you just exit the browser or no?
All of my browsers.
I don't even know what is happening. Can't hear you. Well, you know what? In the meantime, I'm going to play this. Oh, that's too big. Wait, no, it's not. It's loading. It's loading. Hello?
All right, I didn't get raptured.
Okay, cool. I was worried.
Me too.
I was worried that you got raptured and I didn't, and that would be really unfair.
I would feel bad. Yeah, I want you to, you know. I have shit to do. I can't get raptured. I'm too busy.
Morgan is J.J. Abrams production company.
That oh god, that wounds me, Mark. You have no
you
idea.
Bad roboting.
I don't want to be associated with J.J. Abrams.
Oh,
the jellyfish? Nah. He's got no brain and no spine.
Oh. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like we don't know. We could be. We could all be in the Matrix right now.
That would be neat.
You know what I remembered? I
What did you
happened
remember?
to clip the other day that I don't know if we could watch it or just some of it or what, but like it doesn't really go into the rapture, but it does start about that. And it's here, let me find it real quick. But in the meantime, I do want to show just a bit of this.
Hit it.
It's completely unrelated, but you know, oh, it's still loading. Let me try and load it over here now in the better spot. Okay.
The rip off first.
Hey, listen up, people. It goes like this. When I was just a small kid, my daddy ran out on me and I grew up without a father. No shock there. Now, obviously, this gave me a huge affirmation complex that was so bad that I developed a permanent need for everyone to think that I'm special, even though I've got no skills, no talent, definitely can't write, and as it pertains, absolutely no creative abilities whatsoever. So I retreated myself into comics and really haven't grown up since. And we're not even talking about the mature highbrow comics. Hell no. I mean, real goofy mainstream superhero comics for kids. See, my completely deluded and aggressive attitude is wild. In my mind, if I can shout loud enough and long enough that I am a certain thing that I want to be, then enough people just might believe me. I've been nothing but a basic ass YouTuber for the past 16 years. And even now at 33 years old, I still haven't grown up. I still argue with 13-year-olds about who's the best Spider-Man. And I still have an embarrassing, hysterical meltdown if someone hurts my delicate, fragile little ego.
Woof.
Recently, I found an easy way to get just 13% of my YouTube subscribers to all give me $30 each. And in return, I give them a piece of completely laughable garbage, which also serves as a vehicle for my childish and uncontrollable ego. I'm Derek July, and welcome to my Egoverse.
Fucking hell.
What's good, people? So a lot of y'all ask me, Derek.
I don't know what the deal is with the fucking
the dick hat.
Well, no, I meant the smoke detector going off.
I don't know either. Yeah, that's
out when I was editing. I clipped a bit of that out for the show last week, and I was like, "Wait, what was that?" And I thought it was in my apartment, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
wow.
But no, video. So yeah, that's just funny to me. I mean, obviously, he says some stuff in there that I don't agree with. I think is pretty dumb.
Yeah,
About
there's a little cringe in
comics
there.
and stuff. But there's also some stuff that I think is kind of spot on.
I'm sure it's one of those things that will get him very agitated when he sees it.
Oh, it already caused a whole thing. It's already
did it?
been kind of at the center of like. Did you see the clip I said the other day? Showed the other in the chat with our Lord and Savior. Matter of fact, our muse actually of the
Oh
podcast.
yes, our muse, EVS.
Because let me go ahead and show that because it's relevant, I guess, because it's our muse.
Yeah, I would say so. For those who don't know, EVS inspired the creation of this show.
True.
By linking his current beliefs to Joseph McCarthy's.
Yep. And I ever since I came upon the whole Eric July Rippaverse thing, the way I came upon it, by the way, and I would take the time to find the meme, but that would take time. But the first thing I ever heard of Rippaverse or Isom was a meme that's like, just like a couple of little Wojak. I don't know if that's what they are or what, but like, it's like somebody saying it's some blonde white dude, with a Cyber Frog comic, and then a black dude comes up and he's got his Isom comic, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go read comics? Yeah, let's go." And then they go off, and like some SJW soy person is like, "No, you're supposed to be racist."
What?
Yeah, because they think that it's just stupid on multiple levels. But that was the first I ever heard. I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I looked into it, and then I made a video. But nonetheless, ever since that moment, I have known, and deep in my heart, that this alliance, this friendship, was not going to last forever.
Right. I don't
especially once the more I learned of who Eric July is, having already known plenty about Ethan.
Right.
Like, these are literally two fucking narcissists that like have deep fucking, I don't know, inferiority complex than the need to be like the single special one in any given room. Like this is a friendship of convenience that eventually will not be convenient for one or both of them.
Right. They are allies of convenience. And
so excited to kind of tease this.
It's not a comic book
Aren't they
creator.
more expensive than new talent?
Yeah, no, he's got to learn from the people that he works with.
No, they're
You know
so
what I mean?
old that they're
But Eric
no
doesn't
longer
learn.
Well, I mean, he should. So, I mean, being around. One time I tried to tell Eric something, and I said, no, but like, you need to listen to criticism. He goes, I get all the criticism I need from Chuck Dixon, who I trust. And I said, well, you're paying him, though.
Right. Wow, EVS is making a coherent argument.
It's really kind of actually really upsetting how many times he's said some stuff I've agreed with lately.
It's like, oh god, the worst person you know is right about something.
I mean, it's all in context of Eric July, and it's like, but that's why I know that it's gonna, things are gonna.
But there are things EVS knows about the comics industry. Like, I don't think you're necessarily wrong going like, yeah, he might know what he's talking about sometimes. Like, sometimes he's talking out of his ass, especially when it has to do with his own work. But like,
you are roboting just a bit again. I don't know if it's going to get worse, but no, I've literally said you can go back, and anytime I've talked about him, I might have said that I think he's gotten lazier with his work, obviously, his output. But I have always said, I mean, I was a fan of the guy.
Right.
I was a fan of his work. And so if everything else aside that I've ever said, and I stand by all of it, he was never been somebody that doesn't know how to make a comic book, except for when he's like literally just not actually making the comic book because he's doing super chats and shit.
Right. He's too wrapped up in his streamer life.
Yeah. So back to the message at hand. The message being the world's going to end soon, guys. And if you got to get right with Jesus, okay?
Do you?
Sorry.
Are you sure it's not Jesus? Like, I feel like Jesus was pretty cool. Like all I've known Jesus.
I think you kind of fucked him over, and you got to get right with him.
I have a horrible thing younger me did. I will confess my sins before chat.
Okay.
I had a neighbor named Jesus. Lived a couple of doors down. And we would have door-to-door preachers. I forget which. I think they were Jehovah's Witnesses, but I don't remember for sure. And one day they came around asking if I knew Jesus. And I went, "You mean Jesus? He's down a couple doors down."
Oh, no.
And I thought this was the funniest thing I had ever said. And I'm like, I mean, it's kind of funny, but like, wow, I'm awful. So yeah, that's
you're like
me.
the worst person ever because of that.
Yeah, I just confessed my sins, and you guys can cancel me now. I mean, and part of it was that like we got these people every couple of weeks, and like I don't know how to live in America in the 2010s and not have heard of Jesus, right? Just like they're so absurd to think like, oh, you just haven't heard the good news, right? Like everyone knows about you, losers. Why are you bothering me at Saturday morning? I just got off of work. I'm very tired. Leave me alone.
All right, so here's a guy who knows a thing or two about religion, and also knows how stupid it is. Talking to somebody about the rapture.
With information about a rapture that evidently us atheists have hope for. What's going on, Mark?
Now we're cooking.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Mark. What's going on?
Yeah, yes. My belief is in a future rapture because I believe I think there's still hope for the atheists in the future about the rapture because Jesus promised us he's coming back in a rapture. I know you don't believe in Jesus, but I believe in him because he's my savior. But
but why?
Yeah, why? I'm glad that you like something, but why?
Huh?
Why do you believe that Jesus is your savior? And why should we believe that Jesus is your savior and our savior too?
Well, but basically, he is God in form. He is God in the flesh. He died for you and me.
Yeah, that's a claim, but how do you know that that's true, Mark? Because I believe that eventually Morgoth from the Lord of the Rings is going to make his way out of chaos and is going to initiate the end of the second song of the Ainur. Why should I believe in your story?
Well, you should tell Matt he's to be a minister.
No, I'm asking you, Mark. I'm asking you.
I'm not even sure what that sentence was. I mean, Johnny's asking you questions about why you believe. I don't know why my name would even enter this.
I believe in God because he's giving me life. Well, the reason we're here because
what has God given you, Mark, and how do you know that God gave it to you?
I don't know if you guys ever watched those clips. It's kind of one of my go-tos whenever I'm just like looking for something quick to put on while I do something, have it in the background.
My one thing I want to say about Matt Dillahunty, I don't know how common knowledge this is. If you're going to seek out his content, I would pull them from his channel and not the Atheist Experience channel. The group that put that on, the Atheist Community of Austin, I believe. Him and them parted ways, but they continue to like re-push his content and monetize it, and have cut him out of that. And they just claim sole ownership of it. So if
I did not realize that. I mean, I knew that was all due to the Stephen Wolford thing, right?
I believe so. So like Matt does a lot of good content and he's a really good ally. So I would seek content from his YouTube and his social media
Or the
rather
line.
than
Right? The line
Say
with
again?
Jimmy Snow.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, he's got because Jimmy Snow has that channel, The Line, that he started. That's he gave Matt. He has the show called The Hang Up.
Okay. I haven't
and
watched that.
It's basically just this, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I didn't realize that there was that kind of legal thing going on between the ACA because, yeah, I remember when that happened. It was unfortunate, man, because like, yeah.
Well, and a lot of that was over how progressive they should be.
Yeah.
And Matt very much is a progressive, and some of them very much weren't.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to remember how it went down because it was like, what's his name? Rationality Rules is the name of his channel. He had said some stuff that, like, he had made some content that had some bad takes, bad understanding of like trans women in sports and stuff, and how
Yep.
the physiology of how that works out and stuff. And he had bad takes on it. And
Yeah, he like quintuple downed on it fucking hard.
Did he?
And
because I remember that he eventually like educated himself and like
eventually,
okay,
yeah, but even that was a long drawn out process.
Okay, yeah, maybe I probably didn't pay attention to every step of that. So yeah.
I did not pay attention to every step, but I am friends with some people who did, and they were less than enthused.
I mean, you know, this is the kind of thing that, like, I don't know that being a lefty online, you end up. I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary siloing that happens with stuff over like these takes. Like, is either one of these really something? I mean, maybe we disagree on them, but like, is that really something we want to judge someone's character over? You know, I don't know.
Can police be reformed? I mean, it depends on what you mean by reform. Like, that's a conversation intelligent people can have. I think that, I mean, I don't disagree that the Catholic Church also has a lot of issues that I don't know how you deal with. And if someone believes they should be abolished, well, I can look at the crimes they've enabled and covered up and understand where they're coming from. So I think it's something intelligent people can discuss and still consider each other allies, broadly speaking.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I understand that can be divisive, how he gets like, but the thing is too, that like, it's almost necessary in some of these calls that he takes, because these people that will call that they're like so convinced that they're going to call this show and they're going to make a fucking solid case in defense of their beliefs. And it's like, they most of the time don't have even the most loose framework for what evidence is or something. And it's like they start to go off like that guy did in the clip where he's just like, oh, because Jesus is, you know, he's God in the flesh. And it's like, that's not a way to prove anything. So it's like, if he's not, he probably gets a little too aggressive, but if he's not forceful and curt with them at certain points, then they're just going to go off the rails and you know, nothing will ever get accomplished. But you know, there's a little bit of I guess, catharsis in seeing that. If you're somebody who's suffered from religious abuse, which I feel like I have a little bit, and I've known people who have, so like, you know, seeing some of that, it feels kind of good. I won't lie.
Yeah, it's definitely, I can see where you're coming from, Mark. Even if I'm not 100% with you, I get where you're coming from, and I understand why you feel that way, and that's totally valid.
I used to be much more aggressive with my atheism, for sure. Like, I was a fucking huge dick about it. And that was, you know, kind of overcompensating, I think, for feeling like I was a fool for having ever entertained it. It was like, and also just kind of anger that I needed to process about kind of suddenly realizing, oh, I see.
I think for me, it was that I had a lot of very aggressive Christians in my life, and that they did not believe in boundaries.
Yeah.
And like,
well, they really do. Yeah.
Relatives, friends of friends.
Yeah.
People,
I mean, I think generally, man, that like he's a force for good, generally.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing anything bad, and just like on a regular basis or anything. Like, maybe he has some bad takes here and there, or he goes a little too hard on people, sure. But yeah, generally I think he's doing all right. And then what you keep saying, Rich Stains, man, are you saying you hate Christians? because like that's kind of not cool.
Cool.
to
Yeah.
say.
No.
We don't just hate people around here just based on like their like a broad swath of people like that. That's not fucking cool.
That if that is what you're saying, that brings us into the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is the importance of empathy and compartmentalization.
Yeah.
Because I had a thing happen this week, and unfortunately, it's really good content for the show, and I might get a little leaky. So, but
should I play some music or something like?
Please don't. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just recopy and paste the one picture in chat. Dane, if you could pop that on screen.
The
or if
picture,
I can.
Oh, research resources chat?
No, it's in chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I actually shared this and talked shit on it on Twitter.
Really?
I didn't mention you or anything. I just was like,
okay.
Yeah, it was about just the post itself.
Okay.
But we won't look at my thing. We're gonna listen to your thing. And man, yeah, this sucks.
Okay, so whenever you're ready to pop this up.
Yep. 1 second.
Sure.
And here we go.
Okay, so this is I gotta so Facebook. I don't really use Facebook. Every so often I go on there every couple of weeks to like post the Pathfinder Society schedule, or if we've got a convention coming up, to post the like, oh hey, we got a con, come up, sign up to GM, get a free badge, help out. But so I still get emails from them, from Facebook, and one of my friends, it said, oh, it's so and so liked this post. And not only like it, and I'm like, okay, this page seems not good. And I was hesitant to take a look because this friend is one of my closest friends. He officiated our wedding. He is like family, and I guess that should have been a clue that he was gonna rat fuck me. So yeah, this page is not the only post like this on this page. They're very much a pro eugenics, pro all the shitty things that Dane talks about on the right. Even like old eugenics and phrenology and all sorts of bullshit. And he posted favorably about this. And so I sat there for a little bit, quite a bit with this. Because he commented making fun of a couple of these people, and I sent him a message, and I'm just like, hey, what is this? And he replied like, LOL. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't take it seriously. And I'm like, I expected better of you. And he defends himself with the usual like, oh, it's just a joke. And I'm like, that like, I think what broke me, and I'm just gonna scroll up and read the message. I'm not gonna share it because I don't want to dox my friend, even if he's into this sort of shit. But like,
You all right?
So I said, I'm okay. I just said, keep in mind that the sort of person that this page is shitting on is the kind of person you come to for help, because he's got, my friend group in real life is, got a fair number of queer people, a fair number of people with, mental health issues that they, we work on together, right? We're a group of friends, and it's very much a found family. And he participates and benefits from that and helps out and is helped in return. And he said, I suppose that I don't think of you as that kind of person. And that kind of broke something in me. Because the people who run this page, they would think of us all as these kind of people and how they see them and make fun of them and wish harm on them. And if something bad happened to us, you know, they would enjoy that. That would pleasure them. And he never saw his friends as the sort of like he broke that in his brain that like the people he made fun of online and the people in real life that are like that were real in some way, that he doesn't think of us like that, even though the group of people he associates online with would lump us in with them. And it, you know, it wasn't the same to him because he had never thought of it that way. And I think that the reason I want to talk about this on the show, besides some therapy for me, I guess, just sort of working it out of my system, is that the importance of empathy and not compartmentalizing people and not lumping everyone together. It's easy to blame Christians in your life for the shit they do and the shit they believe. And while they have some responsibility for that, it's important to recognize the system they come from and the environment they come from that has put that into them and taught them that that's okay, and that they are not the same level of victim of that system, but very much abused by it and weaponized by it, and harmed by it. And their sense of empathy is destroyed because you can get on a page like this and see all sorts of shitty things and laugh at, you know, things that happen to, you know, there was a post I saw when I checked out this page that was wishing harm on a polycule. And like, you know, you can make fun of that, but like, you know, I know the sort of things he's into. He's talked about it. And like he's drawn this box in his brain where it's different somehow, and that he has this idea of who he is supposed to be as a man, and it's not this. But these are the sorts of people he makes friends with and connects with in real life. Online, he's attaches himself to these sorts of groups because that's what he thinks he's supposed to be. But that's not who he is offline. And that the thought that those worlds could collide never occurred to him. And
well, can I ask, like,
yeah,
this looks like this page. So they're all very, like, the background's the same. Like, I can see the sheriff's department logo. These are all mugshots.
I think so.
Some of these are, you know, I mean, honestly, just very obviously drug addicts.
Possibly.
You know, I mean, it's just there's some telltale signs in some cases.
Yeah.
So, like, it's kind of fucking. Well, here, I'll just show you what I said, actually.
Okay.
I said, imagine just abandoning reason or principles and resorting to a carefully chosen block of faces to represent why your politics are good. And then I said, fascists are becoming more brazen, but also brazenly stupid as the right's governmental and cultural power continues to collapse. And you're resorting to physiognomy of the people that on your side, but then you're just like literally pulling from the sheriff's department
mugshots. Yeah. And picking ones where they have you know, some obvious physical differences, some different hair colors, piercings.
Dude, fucking have some goddamn empathy into like, fuck, man, will you stop fucking looking for reasons to call everybody names that's different than you, dude? Like,
I am just gonna give him the old, you're done.
I mean, if that's what you need to do, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I've given him lots of chances just because he generally straightens up when I call him out. But like, saying
that's
you
twice
fucking hate
now.
Christians and then fucking like, dude, this is not the channel for you. I don't think, man. I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know why you keep coming back.
This is, I mean, you're doing exactly what I'm talking about. Is a problem. Don't do that. Have a heart. It's hard. It sucks. Try not to cry right now talking about it, but that's
Christians are people. Meth addicts or whatever addicts, they're people.
People, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sorry.
Well, I think this, you know, this content in a real way is addicting, right? You people get off making fun of other people, kicking down, right? Like, look how shitty these people are. Like, they're terrible. It could be worse for you, right? Look how much better you are than these people.
That's what Libs of TikTok is built on.
Right. Well, that and bomb threats. And you know, another part of it, and I think this is, it sort of broadly applies as well, is that, like, you know, because the page is very anti-queer, very, very anti-queer. And I think for a lot of, if you're not in a targeted group, if you're a white person, talking about race issues is kind of academic to you, right? Like, it's not, doesn't affect your day to day in the same way it does a black person or a Mexican person or what have you. If you're not a queer person, that it's academic, you know, whatever side of the argument on, it's not real to you in a lot of ways unless you have a family member, and even if you have a family member. And yeah, Julia's, there's a lot of friends I have that aren't friends anymore because of this stuff and how it just destroys your empathy. And empathy is what makes us different. That's what we have that they don't.
And 100%. And before you even showed up to the watch party earlier, Morgan, Caleb Kane had said, or maybe you were watching, I don't know, I were there, I'm not sure. But he had said something like, he didn't hate people. Like, he didn't feel like, he was like, I don't hate, I didn't hate black people, I didn't hate anybody, but like, what he was doing was, and I've said this before, he was basically, that content, it just whittles away your empathy.
Yeah.
And he literally said, I was becoming a sociopath. And I think there needs to be some studies done, and there probably will be in the future, hopefully, where like, we're going to, if we can, you know, turn out okay as a society, where we look back and go, man, there was that period whenever all that YouTube content and social media was just turning people into literal sociopaths.
Right.
Here's all the studies that were done about it.
Mm-hmm. And
I was going to say that, you know, I hope you don't feel like you made a wrong choice in friend, because I would say you've been friends with him a long time. It's possible he wasn't like this always, right?
Like, I mean, so I've told the story of my friend who was a Jordan Peterson fan and then sort of came out of that. That's this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think we had all sort of thought he had moved past it. And there are, if yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm comfortable saying more than that. I don't want to.
It's okay, Mark. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of doing a both sides type thing, because yeah, I think that I am morally superior to people, but I base that on actual harm and evidence of harm, not just like these people are different and they dress weird or they have pronouns or whatever the fuck. Like, just like dumb, superficial, or even just made up bullshit. And I don't think those types of feeling morally superior are the same.
I
remember,
think the one thing I will say in defense of what Mark is saying is that it's important to recognize when we feel morally superior, where that's coming from, and being introspective about it, because I think we do need to be able to determine right from wrong, but we also can't let that blind us to the needs and realities of others. So I think to use something we showed earlier on the show with that Proud Boy starting a fight and getting beaten up, like and yes, and two, I actually have, and yeah, you can't stay on topic. You're done.
Yeah, look, man, into, and this, let me give him this.
Okay.
You have one chance. If your next comment is not something affirming what I said a minute ago about, well, for one thing, be clear with what you're saying, man. I don't know what goes on with you. I don't know why you think that capitalization is it makes up for being clear with your language, but it doesn't. You capitalize a lot, and then you also just don't make sense sometimes. It's not clear what you're referring to. It's not clear what you're referring to right now. What are you saying that in response to?
Right.
Nevertheless, you need to let me know right now. Do you plan to fucking like be a little bit more mindful about having some goddamn empathy and a compassion for people that you don't know, and not painting with the broad brush of whether it's Christians or fucking drug addicts or whoever it is? Because whenever we talk shit on people here, we're talking shit on specific people for specific actions. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not really just like, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know what you get out of this channel. You come in here and you tell people to stop reading comics and play a video game. You come in here and you want us to talk about like what, UFC or boxing or some shit.
I don't know anything about that. You're in the wrong stream.
I'm not sure what. There are other YouTube channels, man. Like, I mean, you're welcome to find some if this is not what you're looking for, and definitely if our kind of views and principles don't line up with yours. So you can acknowledge that what all I just said, or you can move on. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just Mark's been great today. I just want to shout out Mark. He's been great in chat. We're talking about his religion, and he's had a lot of thoughtful insight, and just want to shout the guy out. Yeah, so it's tough, and it's tough to have empathy and try and do the right thing, but I think it's important, and I think it's important for all of us to do that. And yeah, so this is why my outline on Rapture was a little shorter than usual. Kind of ate up the last several days.
There are forces at work, and I don't mean some kind of supernatural forces, that are determined to co-opt your empathy, turn it falsely, I guess, against your, like, in favor of yourself and people like you, and make you think that you're being compassionate for your people that you care about or whatever, when really they've convinced you that, but you're like just kind of removing your empathy and replacing it with apathy.
Right.
And eventually that can become malice. That's how you end up with it ranges from just people being like, oh, I don't care about trans people's issues online, to I'm actually going to go do a mass bang bang at a gay club because of queer people.
Right.
And so just, and I'm talking about social pressure is a big one. Like, there's so many people that you'll see, had people tell me as a YouTuber or whatever, like, oh, the things that you say in your bio or whatever, like that's so cringe. You say all of the cringe stuff. Like there's a social effort, an effort to make you feel alienated for saying, you know, I stand with black people against police, or I stand with trans people, or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, you have to have a fucking resilient, you just got to build up your strength of character, I suppose, and not let that shit cow you, because
Well, you know, and I think that with, you know, the example of my friend, I think if someone, you know, asked him and said, you know, what are you, a bigot? You go, oh, well, no, I have some of my very close friends are queer. And like, you said the line, you asshole, like get a gold star. But you're liking this shit. You're, you know, you think that's funny.
Anyway. Well,
So,
Morgan,
yeah. That
when a friendship like that comes to an end, it's not that it's not painful, but it's definitely for the best, I believe.
Yeah, and I don't know that the friendship is over. I gave him an ultimatum. And you know, I told him this. I said, what you need to do, or what I need you to do, because he asked if there's anything I need from him, because he deleted the post, deleted his comment, and I had already said the damage is done. Like, I already saw it. Deleting it doesn't do anything, right? I grabbed screenshots. But I said, what I need you to do is figure out if you're the sort of person that tells the whole world that you're fine with phrenology, getting upset at people who look different than you, and calling for them to be excised from society. If you're cool supporting people calling for me to get the wall, you can lose my number. If you're better than what you showed me today, you can show up next game.
I mean, if I'm not gonna, you know, you handle it obviously how you're gonna handle it. I would probably be like, I need you to explain to me how you justified this. If he decided that, like, you know, you're right, I still would kind of want to, almost like, I don't know, I would just want to understand how somebody could hold those two opposing positions, as far as like being friends with people, and then also that.
Because cognitive dissonance is easy. Compartmentalization is really easy. Like, he didn't see us the way he saw those people on that page, but you know, those people on that page would see us that way. So it's just, you know, like, he knows what he did. And if he's better than that, he knows he can show up.
Right on.
And if he doesn't, he'll act all weird and guilty and stuff, and then, you know, he'll out himself.
Well, either way, you held a boundary in an incredibly difficult situation, but you made it clear anyway.
Yeah.
And that's good, and that's necessary. We are in such a world, such a time when almost any person you can encounter or know or love or whatever could be somebody who holds some pretty abhorrent views.
Also, another lesson of this, on a less traumatic but equally serious note, the internet's forever. Don't think that, like, you can't let yourself think that, like, oh, I posted it online so it doesn't count in real life. It absolutely fucking does. Because anyone can see it at any time. Stumble upon it. I got an email, right? Like, I wasn't even on Facebook to post my monthly update. I was just like, oh, Facebook would like you to know that this person is doing things on Facebook. You know, Facebook's literally, the algorithm is spying on you, going, oh, that's your friend. You don't go on Facebook enough. We're going to show you what he's doing to make you interested.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
Well, it got you interested.
It got me real interested. You know, that's the algorithm at work. They got me, right? Like, but the internet is for real. Don't ever think it isn't. Don't say anything in real on the internet that you wouldn't say in front of someone, because that keeps you honest, right? If you're like, if I wouldn't say this out at the bar, out at dinner, don't say it online. Just
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Like, everybody in my personal life knows me the same way that you guys know me. This is just who I am, and that wasn't always the case. Whereas, like, I didn't really have an online presence before, but I would kind of adapt myself sometimes when I was younger to who I was around or whatever. If you know what I mean. Like, I think a lot of people go through that to some degree. But it sucked, like, compared to now, where it's like I may not be able to get along with as many people, like 1 in 10 people. I mean, whereas before I could maybe get along with, like, I don't know, 7 out of 10 people. Now it might be 2 out of 10 people. It's better. You know, like, it's generally there are people that value people who just speak up for what they believe and what they mean and make it clear. Anyway, you know what? We should end this by, I don't know, doing something funny. I don't know. What are we
we have
doing?
something funny? I would love something funny right now.
Well, give me a second here.
I will give you as many seconds as you need.
In the meantime, I don't know, chat, do something.
Hey, chat, how you doing? Yeah. So chat's great. Chat's been great today for the most part. With one notable exception. I noticed that he has been silent ever since his last call out. Maybe he's
and I think that's probably been a habit that I've allowed to happen for a while. Is like every time I've said something, he kind of just backs off completely instead of acknowledging that I've asked him to
address his bullshit,
address these boundaries that he's crossing, and trying to give him benefit of the doubt. And then you know, at this point, you know, there was a period when I was collecting his comments and screenshots, and I was going to make a video just because some of them were so bizarre, but also
were. So to answer Lucifer questions, when is the Rapture coming? Okay, so if I am, let's see. Okay, so if I believe that it's going to be some denomination of 1,000 years after Jesus died, and that's somewhere between 33 and 35 CE. Last I checked. Oh boy. I am gonna go. Let's pull up the can I go out further than that? All right, here's, I'm gonna call it 3034. Let's go President's Day 3034. Like right in the middle of all those furniture sales.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly what we need to do on our way out the door today. Come
All
on.
right.
Why did it take me so long to think of this?
So
all right, everybody.
all right, what do we have for next week before we so we can tease them out? I think we got something planned already.
Oh yeah, we do have some next week stuff. I've planned out the rest of the month, guys.
Oh yay!
We are going to do some shite. Also, a quick public service announcement: Iron Age is a brand that's being thrown around lately as far as comic books, creator-owned comic books. They are, I mean, essentially that was started around Razor Fist's comic book. It is just another version of Rippaverse as far as like the same audience pool of shitheads from Comicsgate and stuff. So Iron Age, if you see that around, do not fall for any bullshit. They're not something new and special. That, you know, they're just another, basically the same thing repackaged.
Oh, fun.
So I'll probably get into them this week some, but what did I do with that information?
I think it got sucked up in chat somewhere because we've been talking a whole bunch. And know if you're stalking Dane because you have an issue with him in the Rippaverse, no, this is not the secret Discord where him and the Initiative talk about Eric July. It's a different... Oh, we got a whole banner. Oh, that's cute.
So next week, I believe, unless something has come up, I believe next week we shall be blessed with the gift, the soothing, dulcet British tones.
Yep.
Of one Mr. Ryan of Nothing But Media. I think he'll be back. He'll be back. He's got some time for us now, I think. And what we're going to do is talk about some Christians versus more Christian shit. Cool.
Well, it's 'tis the spooky season, and they love the spooky season.
We're going to talk about Christians versus horror movies like The Exorcist, The Omen, Rosemary's Baby. Just maybe even Dogma. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good. We should talk about Dogma. That's a good one to end on, right? Like,
yeah. And then the next week we'll talk about Halloween sadism. All those evil people that put all these drugs and razor blades and fentanyl in the candy, and all these kids are dying every year. Just every single year, more and more kids are dying.
Yeah, razor blades and marijuana edibles. I've seen that one. Fentanyl.
Guess what though? That don't really happen. So
no,
it
turns out, yeah. Like, so if I'm a drug dealer, you know what I'm gonna do?
Give away your drugs for free.
Give away all of my drugs for free.
And also make it easy to trace those drugs back to where you are with all the rest of your drugs, so that the police can get you for drugs and murder.
Well, I've seen this on Blue Sky, like, joked about, but I actually think that like someone is going to try and push this panic this year, that the transes are going to put some sort of hormone drug in the candy to turn the kids trans or gay or whatever.
Yeah, because you just got to take a little bit, and then you're the other gender.
That's exactly how HRT works. It didn't take, that definitely just like one Kit Kat full of estradiol is going to give you, boobs. God's like,
yeah, that's called a tit tat.
Well done. Well done.
And then after that, the next week, I'm on trial this time.
Yep. Yeah. So back in August, we put me on trial, and now I've taken control of the Supreme FAP Court, FAP POTUS or FAP SCOTUS.
I'm under the spotlights that week.
Yep.
It's gonna be, I guess, and maybe if Ryan's there, I guess you'll do like good cop, British cop.
Oh yeah, he can do his like British Bobby, and I can be an American. I can be Dirty Harry.
Yeah. And he can be like, Jesus, you're going a little too hard. Like, this is America.
This is America. Yeah, bye, Joker. Take it easy.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, Columbo. Oh yeah, Ryan would be Columbo. Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, true. And then we're gonna take a look back on the last. I think that's the 28th. Will be that.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a look back because it's been a year. I know it hasn't been a year for you guys. It's been a year for us,
right.
And I think that warrants looking at kind of what we've covered and seeing what kind of patterns we may have spotted, what kind of surprises or not surprises, and then talking with you guys and seeing what kind of stuff you'd want to see covered in year 2.
Yeah.
So
we'll take requests from you. We can throw it up in our to-do list. I have a fun to-do list. Maybe we'll share that out. I can clean it up a little bit.
Well, and also that's gonna be the 28th, so it's close to Halloween. We might have a little Halloween chat about something, or I don't know.
Oh, yeah, something spooky.
Maybe I'll wear
Halloween candy. Everyone pick your favorite Halloween candy.
Wear a costume. I'll put one on my avatar. And
yeah, I can get like a pumpkin head for Delta here, and yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Good times.
I'll get the spouse on that. Yeah.
You are roboting now, so I think that's a good
sure.
turn to call it. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday for initiative content. Chudpocalypse continues, guys. It's real. It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
It's kind of slow, but it's the content is not going upward, even with the strikes over and whatnot. So good times. Yeah, here you go. Bow your heads and hit subscribe and like. Peace.
May Bill Gaines shine his heavenly light, impregnate you with many happy days, joy fetuses. May your anuses be cleansed by the purifying light that exudes from Bill Gaines' eternal dragon phallus. Should you meet your mortal demise this day, go with comfort that you have satisfied the commands of the one true Bill. Those being read comic books. Fuck the dumb shit. Be yourself. Love each other. Also, read more comics. Grow your hair out all goddamn while. Amen.